Good morning, guys. We are headed out to the high tunnel because I have a little baby lamb in the house, and he is loud, let me tell you. So if I want to chat with you, I should probably not do it in my house because he is so loud. So I am Mama Bear to many. I am mom to 14 children. 12 of my children are still here at home, along with me and my husband, so there's 14 in the household. Let's talk about this pantry challenge. So, sorry, you're kind of like at a weird angle. You're sitting like in a flower pot in my high tunnel. Up there is snow above my high tunnel. Anyway, let's maybe get you a little bit closer. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the pantry challenge and just how things were different. This past week has been a hard week for us. We had so much going on, as well as I have not been feeling that great. So I'll share that at the end or the beginning. I don't really know, but we're expecting a baby, and I will show you the announcement that I gave to my husband at the end of this video. How about that? That sounds good. Okay, so I have not been feeling well, and so that kind of just throws a little pickle in the situation. That is the reason that I decided to do my food shopping in February rather than March, because February was, you guys were really crookedy like this, and I don't know how well I did it. It's kind of funny the way I have you guys balanced, but I didn't want to like try and hold you and then be shaky. So it's been kind of challenging. I usually get fairly sick in the beginning of pregnancy, and I decided that I could make better decisions if I went grocery shopping prior to March, because like right now I'm starting to really get into, I don't feel like cooking, I don't feel like doing too much, that type of stuff. So I thought that it'd be wiser for me to make my good pantry decisions while I still felt good. So that's what I ended up doing. That's why I ended up doing my big shopping in February, and I'm very glad that I did. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something. I've had the opportunity to watch a lot of the channels that are working through the pantry challenge. And I wanted to, because of me watching those things, and it's not pinpointed at certain people or anything like that. I'm not saying that. It's just I've been doing this type of stuff for a long time. And it might be some information that might be helpful to somebody who's starting new, or maybe somebody who is looking to change their philosophy around. So some people, when they were doing the pantry challenge, they were realizing that they don't eat certain foods, or that they canned, or maybe their family doesn't like this or doesn't like that. And it used to be in the beginning, that's how I felt. Like, my family doesn't like this, or my family doesn't like that, so I'm not going to do that. But then there comes to a point, and I think it's a critical point right now in our world, society. Our food is not secure nationwide, really. Especially, you can see all these people who are checking my dog. She kind of protects our property, and so she is barking out toward the road, which most likely there's certain people that go to my neighbor's house that she doesn't particularly like. Anyway, just making sure that is what it was. So, that a lot of people will maybe make their choices on what they grow or what they don't grow based on what their family is currently enjoying. And I think that that's the wrong philosophy in a way because of this. We live in a very unsecure food world. If we couldn't get fresh fruits and vegetables, I'm very thankful, and I'm very blessed that we can get fruits and vegetables. I'll be honest, I went to the grocery store the other day, and the fruits and vegetables are pretty much wiped out. Maybe I'll leave a little clip of that like down below, because Okay, my husband's leaving earlier for work, and so he just came in. And we have a friend here. Huh. You good girl. Yeah. So I used to think that way. And I think that it's the wrong way of thinking. I think that if you think back in time, people grew, yes, what their family liked. I mean, if your family really liked this and it grew like green beans and it grows really well, then plant like enough green beans for your family. But we need to think about how we can prepare the foods that we can grow well for our families, and that's going to be different in all different places. Up here, our cold crops tend to do fairly well, so eating more cabbage, canning cabbage, like those types of things are things that I've implemented into our homesteading journey and such. And before I didn't do that. I was just like, oh, well, I didn't grow up really eating vegetables, so it was kind of like peas and corn. And my mother didn't like peas, so it was kind of like corn, and that was what I ate, which corn isn't really a vegetable. Corn is actually a grain. But anyhow, that we need to think differently, because if times get tough and you are needing to grow for your family, it's great if you have like food storage or stockpile or anything like that. It's great if you have those things, but at the same time, like there's going to be a time that you're going to use up whatever you have, and you're going to need to grow what you're going to grow. So why not figure out now how you can make those foods to be enjoyable for your family? How is your family going to enjoy those things? I had never dealt with beets before. And then one year somebody gave me like a ton of beets. They said, we're going to plow all these beets under and you can come get them if you want to. And I had hundreds of pounds of beets. And so she gave me the recipe for pickled beets, and I did that. Now, a couple of people in our household don't like pickled beets, but if I roast beets, then they like the beets that way. So just coming up with ways that you can eat the food, that your family's going to eat the food, and use those things more. And for the pantry challenge, that was kind of my theme. I had a lot of the same things, so I know a lot of times it probably wasn't very interesting. Like this past week, we ate a lot of the same things that we had eaten over the past weeks before, so I don't have too much footage of that. Plus, I felt like Crutter, and when I didn't feel like Crutter, I was in the city. So we ended up, I was just looking over there. It looks almost like my leeks from last year that I cut down. It looks like there might be like some green starting in the top. So I was like intrigued by that, and kind of like a squirrel over there. Anyway, so deciding how you can make those foods so your family will like them. And I think that's really important, especially in an unstable environment that we live now. I mean, there is so much going on with our food system. My heart just breaks for the Amish farmer that's being brought to court and stuff. Like that just really breaks my heart, seeing situations like that. And then we're seeing all these different countries that are going to Capitol buildings, that are protesting, and that are being asked to grow less food. And I don't know. It's an interesting time. I don't really want to get into like the political thing with our channel, but I think there's a thought that you can think. Like, if you're a Christian and your food is not run by Christians, they can alter, and we see this. Like, if you know what's really in your food, they're altering our food for the negative on a daily basis. And we don't want to be eating that. What if there comes a time where they say what you can and you can't eat? Rationing in 1940s was totally different. It was, you can have these foods here. Well, what if there was that type of system that got set in place that wasn't from a Christian perspective? We've changed so much. I think it's kind of hard, like, not to say like the political stuff because I'm kind of passionate about it. I'm just passionate about, like, as a parent, as a mom, like, it's our responsibility to take care of our children the best that we can. And I feel like God created our bodies as a temple, and they're doing so many things. Like, Satan's come to destroy, right? And God's giver of life. So if there's somebody out there to destroy you, there's going to be, Satan's most definitely interested in our food system, because that's what we're feeding our people. That's what we're feeding our children. So I want to be prepared like the old school way. Families, they might have hard times. They also had gardens. They also knew how to garden. And you can't just start gardening today and expect to know it all. I am learning every year, and I've been doing this for 17 years, give or take. And I'm learning stuff all the time. And sometimes I think that people also say, like, to me, they say, oh, if things get bad, then I'm just going to come to your house. And I think that's really, like, a false conception. Yes, Christians should be, like, having the heart of a servant and having the heart of giving. And right now, I'm giving information to help you help yourself. I was reading in the Bible the other day about the 10 women. 5 had... They're all waiting for the bridegroom, and 5 have their lamps ready, and 5 don't have their lamps ready. And it really intrigued me that the 5 who had their lamps ready did not give to the 5 who did not have their lamps ready. And they weren't, like, in trouble per se for not giving to the other 5 people. It was more like, okay, well, you can take care of it now. Well, I just feel like in our mind, like in our lives, we should be ready, right? Like, we should be ready. We all know, like, whether you're like pre-tribulation, post-tribulation, whatever you are, like, if you're a Christian, like, I don't know what you believe, but the end times are going to get hard. When you believe that you're going to get raptured, or when you believe Jesus is coming, or when you believe whatever is going on, the Bible's clear about famine, pestilence, all these things that are going to happen, right? War, rumors of war, all these things. So I think it's just being a good steward. So back to the pantry challenge, because I just got off on a ramble. So anyway, that was my ramble for the day. I feel that people should stop being so picky, to be honest with you. Yes, I think that it's great that you can go to the grocery store and I love salad, right? I can't grow salad this time of year. I was very disappointed that I couldn't get my sweet pea salad the other day because there was no lettuce at the grocery store. Literally, there was no lettuce, organic, non-organic, at the grocery store for my daughter. So, I understand that you want to get these things. At the same time, you have to be planting things that can nourish your family and training your family to love the things that you can grow well. That's what is really, like, burdening on my heart from watching different of these pantry challenge videos and that type of stuff. Like, I understand you can grow better of this, you can grow better of that, or you don't like this, or you don't like that. That's all great. But could you nourish your family if times got tough? Would your family be ready? I got another question the other day. It was actually on a Facebook group, and it was a mom, and it said she used to grow a lot of her food, and or she used to, like, prepare a lot of her food, like, fresh, and after they ended up getting some other children from, I think it's the foster care system or adopted or something like that, and those children were so used to processed foods, so she started giving into the processed foods. Well, then her kids wanted the processed foods, and she was asking, like, how do I switch them back? Well, you have to understand, processed foods actually have addictive chemicals in them to get your kids addicted to them. So if you're feeding yourself or your children something that has addictive qualities, yeah, they're going to want that before they want real food. So sometimes you have to take away all that addictive stuff in order for them to really be aware of what their needs, what their bodies need. And it will happen. You know, last night I'm sitting there and I'm like, I really would like some steak. And so it's like, sometimes our bodies are just craving like what it needs. And a lot of times that happens. Sometimes I'll put pickled beets out there, and pickled beets actually, or beets have a nutrition B something, and I'm not quite sure. I can't remember what one it is. That a lot of other vegetables don't have, is found in beets. So sometimes I'll notice I will go through like a huge quart of beets at one meal. And then other times people will just pick a beet or two. And I think it's because that they need that vitamin in their systems at that time. And I find that like doing that, throwing a bunch of things out there at one time, if you're having, say, a casserole that already has vegetables, don't be like, oh, it already has vegetables in there. Get your pickles out there. I always try to get pickled beets or pickles like out there at a meal, or a ferment out there at a meal, because, and I need to get better about fermenting. That's something myself that I need to get better doing. So that's something that I'm going to work on throughout the summer, is fermentation. I've done sauerkraut. I did carrots one time, but nobody really wanted the carrots. But I find that once we start eating ferments, then you almost crave the ferment. So it's just getting those things out there. And I think that I probably did the ferment wrong because it was like gingered carrots, and the ginger was really, really strong. So I'd like to try to make it again and just put less ginger in it so it's not as potent as I made it. So we went through a ton of jars. I got hundreds of jars used up. I think over the next couple months, things that I need to work on. I need to show my kids. I have a lot of tomato sauce that I can be using, and we stopped eating pasta. So I had a bunch of tomato sauce because we used to eat pasta a lot. But I know I'll use some of that in the summertime because we like to make this dish where we take zucchini and summer squash and onion and sauce and put cheese on top of it. That's really good. But finding other ways to use that sauce is going to be great. I do want to make tomato soup. I know I can use that this time of year, but I haven't taught any of the kids how to make it. So that could be different. I have to see. I might have written it down on an old blog how I make it. I'll have to look to see if I can find that. So just trying to find those things. I'm excited. Yesterday it was like, I think 15 degrees, something like that. And today it's going to be 50. So that's really exciting. I'm going to do a homestead type tour and have that up for you soon. And then we're also going to, in that homestead tour, we're going to be building like our maple syrup boil down area and that type of stuff. And yes, it's redneck. We do not have an evaporator. But just thinking about all these things as we go forth and before we plant things this year, is to see, what have you grown and what aren't people really interested in? Well, how can you use that in a way that may interest them? How can you change that to make it different so they may want it more? Or just trying again to find things that your family will eat with the products that grow well in your area, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm going to show you this week. Basically, I have a couple meals that I put in here, but I believe that I just have stuff that we did with milk. We made some cheese and that type of stuff. So I will have that in this video. At the end, I will have the announcement that I think is so cute. So just a little bit about that is my son. A lot of you know that my son passed away in February 2022. my husband, which is 2 years ago, or was 2 years ago, a couple weeks ago. And my husband, on his birthday, was when my son got sick and went in the hospital, and my husband was the one who was with him. So from my husband's birthday until my son's death a couple days later, he was in the hospital. So my husband was on a business trip, and then he was coming back the day before his birthday. So I actually announced this pregnancy for my husband's birthday. Last year he wanted like nothing for his birthday because he's like, I can't like, I don't want to like celebrate. I just can't do whatever. And so it was really special. Yeah, it was. I just feel blessed that the Lord would choose me. That would choose me again, you know, like I'm 45, in case anyone wanted to know. I'll be 46, Lord willing, when this baby comes. And I just feel extremely blessed that God would choose me. I think every baby is so, so very precious. We've lost 5, possibly 6 babies. They thought that possibly one of my losses was twins, but that was not confirmed or anything because of what was going on. Yeah. It's just so, like, so special. Like, I don't know. My snow is falling off of the thing. It's gonna come sliding down. Yeah, so let's go make some cheese. Are you eating with the lamb? Are you eating with that lamb? Did he already eat? Did he have a baba? It isn't. Do you love the lamb? Mm-hmm. Is it a boy or girl? Boy. Yes. Okay, so my daughter's going to use this raw milk to make some cheese. So she's going to take these 2 gallons of milk and put them in the big pot. And then she's going to take, it's 3 teaspoons of citric acid in water here. And she's going to put that in, and then she's going to put it on the stove and let it warm to 100 degrees. So she's at 100. That's the milk right there. So then she's going to add, she has half a teaspoon. Yep. Half a teaspoon of rennet. You can use vegetable or animal rennet. We find vegetable rennet usually takes longer than animal rennet. So she's gonna put this in here and stir it around. And she's just gonna pop a cover on this. The heat is off. She's gonna pop a cover on this and wait 30 minutes. So it's been half an hour. She's stirring this as she turned it on, and she's going to heat this to 110. You can see, you'll be able to see right in here how it starts to separate more and like separates before your eyes. You can see the whey in the cheese. maybe in a couple minutes. Just at 100 now. Is that it? Yep. Okay, so now she's just going to dump this over the strainer. We'll give the whey to our animals because it's really healthy for them. There's other things that you can use it for. You can just look that up, but today it's going to the animals. So that's all the way. In a couple minutes. You can help me warm up supper in a minute. Do you want to get the cucumbers out of the fridge? So she's just pressing out all the extra whey from the curds. While she was doing this, she also had some water on the wood stove that she was warming up because she has that over in the pot right there.
There's no cucumbers in here. You see? There's no cucumbers.
I think there's more cucumbers. No, you can do the big cucumber. We'll cut the big cucumber. That'll be good.
It's so big though.
I see. We're gonna take the plastic off it, and then we can cut it up first to go with supper.
Can you hold?
You can ask your sister to help. She just offered you. So we're gonna let these sit for 10 minutes. So that's one. I want to show with that how you can stretch it. You can work the cheese a lot, like you can dump it into the hot water and pull it and dump it and pull it as much as you want to do it to make it as stringy as you want to do it. We usually just do it once like this because we're just probably going to end up grating it or cutting it, and we're not super picky about it. But you can work it for a long time. This is just our simple method of making it, and it comes out to be like a beautiful cheese. Then we just wrap them up like this. So Sweet Pea had yogurt and the kids had oatmeal, so they just had this oatmeal with butter and milk and whatever types of like different jellies that we have.
All right, so this is what we're having for lunch: mincemeat pie with the side of salad with all these different toppings, and tuna salad. And that's what there is.
And for supper tonight is baked potatoes with chili and cheese and sour cream and salsa. So my daughter has this milk here and she is taking the top off, and this is all cream which we are going to make into butter.
Shake.
Careful. Butter.
Butter.
What do you have to do to make butter?
Shake this.
Okay, go shake. So there is the butter in top of the jar, and now we're just gonna strain it out and put it in the bowl. So we go through the butter really quick. So we just usually put it in a bowl like this, and then we'll eat it within a day. Usually, maybe two. Portable ice cream cake. So you're just gonna take a pan. This is a 9x13. I put roughly a quart of ice cream into the bottom of this. I let the child choose what one they want, and then I let them choose whatever cookies that they want. So we're going to use these. We crush them up, probably half of this package, and put those in here. So all you do is just push it down, and then I'm going to pop this in the freezer for about half an hour. So then we're going to take another ice cream flavor that the child chose, and we're just going to plop this all over. So if you wanted to do it fancy, you could just take a hot spatula and put it over there. I'm just going to throw these on now. So then I let the child pick a candy that they want. This is Reese's. You could use M&M's, whatever kind of candy you want on top. So basically they pick 2 types of ice cream, 1 type of candy, and 1 type of cookie. And that is it. We'll throw this in the freezer. And there we go. Super yummy ice cream. And for tonight we have green beans, sour cream, baked potatoes, 2 meatloaves. If somebody wants some lettuce, I think some people, you have a salad. She has a salad with some stuff in it. So that is what we're eating. What do you have? Is yours food yummy? Okay, so this is yogurt, and it has a lot on the top. So I'm actually going to strain this out, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so here is my setup. I have a bowl with a strainer and with a flour sack. Okay, so I'm just going to dump this yogurt that I have and let that strain out. I can even let this strain out overnight, would be fine. And if we want to, once a bunch of the whey comes down, I can tie it above something.
That's nice. Is there something on the back?
What does it say?
He answered.
We prayed, he answered.
I have a matching shirt. Want to see it?
What does it say? What does it say?
For this child be prayed.
Pregnant? Yes.
Why did you tell me? You just did.
You know Mama was gonna do that.